Hi, I'm Justin from T2K, and in this video we will be having a look at availability statuses in 3CX on the smartphone app. We will be running through this on an iPhone, but it's essentially the same on Android, so everything you see here will be relevant no matter what device you have. Statuses are a simple but powerful way of handling your calls, whilst keeping your colleagues aware of your availability. We've previously covered how to manage your availability in call forwarding using the PWA and web client. If you think this would be useful to you and you haven't watched it already, a link to the video is available in the top right corner of your screen now. Okay, let's take a look at the smartphone app. You'll no doubt already be aware of the different availability statuses that you can see against your colleagues in the team page, such as available, do not disturb and away, to name just three. These are really helpful as you have an immediate and visual way of knowing if the colleague you need to speak to is free to talk. We can make this even more useful by adding a custom message, so rather than your status showing do not disturb, you could change this to something more meaningful, for example in a meeting until 11 AM. That way your colleagues know when they can expect to be able to reach you. To customise the status message, we'll start by tapping on the status icon in the top right corner. You'll see on this phone that it's currently green as my present status is set to available. When I tap on the icon, the call forwarding menu appears, showing me all of the available statuses. I'm going to customise the do not disturb status, so I'll start by tapping on the arrow at the right edge of that row. At the top you'll see custom status message. I can now tap into this box and enter my message. So let's type in a meeting until 11 AM. When I've finished typing, I'll tap on the apply button in the top right corner and this will take me back to the previous menu. Now you'll see that I'm still in the available status as the row is shaded in grey. You'll also notice that underneath do not disturb, my custom message is now visible. To select the do not disturb status, I'll just tap on the row. The call forwarding menu will close and my status is now set. If I look on the team page, I can see that my custom message is presented to my colleagues and my presence icon has changed to red, both in my entry on the team page and also up in the top right corner of my screen. Setting custom messages for other statuses is configured in exactly the same way. Now let's have a look how we can change the way your calls are handled dependent on which status you've selected. If we head back to the call forwarding menu by tapping on the status icon in the top right corner, we'll start by looking at the available status. So we'll tap on the arrow on its row. Firstly, we can influence unanswered calls. We'll need to let 3CX know when it should deem a call to be unanswered. So we set the no answer timeout by tapping on the row, then specifying the amount of time that should elapse before forwarding the call. As a rule of thumb, in the UK, 3 seconds equates to about 1 ring cycle, so setting a timeout to 18 seconds will be around 6 rings. Once we've specified this time, we tap on the apply button in the top right hand corner. Next we choose what to do with our calls if they are unanswered. You'll see that we have options for external calls and internal calls. This is one of the many powerful features of 3CX, and it means that if you're busy, you can choose to forward external calls from your customers differently to internal calls from your colleagues. We'll tap on forward external calls and now we have some choices. Firstly, we have my voicemail. This is the default setting and will simply forward all of your external calls to your own voicemail. Next is extension. This allows us to forward our calls to another extension on the phone system. When we select extension, you'll see we can now tap to select an extension. So we just browse to find a suitable person and then tap to select them. You'll notice there's a voicemail switch. Turning this on by tapping on it will forward your calls directly to the voicemail of the extension you have chosen. Right, let's go back to the list of forwarding options. You'll see that next on the list is My Mobile. If you select this, you'll need to ensure that you have your mobile phone number added to your profile. But in all honesty, this is now more of a legacy feature as we're using the smartphone app to handle calls wherever we are. Next is external number. In here you could select any number you wish to forward your calls to, for example an outside answering service or your home phone. If you turn on rebound, then the call will be announced giving you the opportunity to either accept or reject any calls that are forwarded. Heading back to the list of options again, we now have System Extension. System extensions include call queues, ring groups and digital receptionists. So you could forward your calls out to a group of phones in your team or to a digital receptionist that can offer options to the caller to route them to a different department or user. Going back, the final option we have is simply to send back a busy tone. Now we've explored the options, I'm going to set external calls to forward to a system extension, and in this instance it will be the sales inquiry team. I'm happy for my internal calls to be sent to voicemail, so I'll leave that as is, but if I wanted to change it, it works in exactly the same way. Further down the page you can see that we also have options for how to route calls if the extension is busy or not registered. Busy is self-explanatory, but not registered would mean that you're not connected to the 3CX system, for example if your smartphone was powered off or out of service. Finally, in the miscellaneous section you'll see 3 further options. Accept multiple calls will enable call waiting. So if you're on a call and someone else rings you, you'll receive an audible and visual notification and can then choose to swap between calls. Also Ring My Mobile will make your cellular mobile ring at the same time. I recommend against using this, especially when using the smartphone app. Finally, we have Accept Push Notifications. Push notifications are signals that will make your smartphone alert you to incoming calls. If you have this turned off, your smartphone will not ring when someone calls you, so it's important to ensure this is enabled. Now you've seen how to change your call forwarding in the available status, it's essentially the same for all the other statuses. However, you'll note with unavailable profiles such as Do Not Disturb, you will see fewer options as it will be deemed that you're unable to accept incoming calls. The final option you have available is to set your status temporarily, ideal if you're in the habit of forgetting to change your status back after lunch. So we'll tap on this, change the status to Do Not Disturb and set a time period of 30 minutes. I can add a custom message here too if I like and then tap Apply. My status has now been set to Do Not Disturb and in 30 minutes time I'll be automatically set back to available. And that's it! You've learned everything you need to know about availability statuses and call forwarding in the 3CX smartphone app. I really hope you found this video useful. If you have, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. If you do subscribe, don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload a new video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.